This podcast is brought to you by Pragmatic Solutions, the leading iGaming PAM platform with a modular approach, including many benefits like a fast, secure, and scalable API-based platform, integrated with all major third-party products and services. Make sure you head over to Pragmatic Solutions and join our smart thinking.
Nicole Kavander, super happy to have you. Fantastic. Tell me about yourself. Who are you?
Who am I? It's the biggest question out there, isn't it? My name's Nicole. I work as a client service director at an agency called Merkle, and I'm also co-founder of All of Us.
And that's why you're here, the All of Us. Yeah. At least for my end, because...
agencies don't care, but...
exactly. Yeah. No, but there is a specific thing on the mentorship that I would like to sort of pick your brain on. Yeah. However, tell us a little bit more about All of Us and what you do.
Yeah, so All of Us, we are a network that champion diversity and inclusion in the creative industries in Sweden and the Nordics. We started off in 2018. That's when we kind of founded our whole thing. And why we see ourselves as a network is because we started off by, gathering and creating a community for people of colour who work with communication. We see a huge lack of representation, not just in media, but also, behind the scenes, who is actually creating and deciding who gets to be seen today. So that's our roots. And throughout the years, we've grown. So today, our network consists of over 2,000 people who are all professionals in the creative industries here in Sweden. So it's a lot about the, not just networking, but also the job opportunities. We do see, unfortunately, a lot of discrimination still, especially if you're a person of colour. So what we started off doing is, creating a community where we share work and work opportunities that we see, but also creating that foundation of a community where you can actually network. Because we do know the more connections, the more people the easier it is to get that way in or to have that career progression, especially in, advertising, marketing, fashion and music. It's very, I think we're talking a lot about nepotism these days. Mm-hmm. Those industries are very much subject to that. That's what we do. And throughout the years, we started off doing talks and lectures on what inclusive communication actually is and why the industry has or should focus on and really realize the power that we have in what we do, as in, we set the norm in society. We decide what's normal or beautiful or aspirational. We get paid a lot of money to convince our population to do things, to buy things or buy services or whatever. And with that comes a huge responsibility with, what stereotypes are we reinforcing? How are we actually depicting people? So we started talking about that quite early on when we started in 2018, which grew quite fast. So from, us just talking about it or writing articles, we today, do keynote speeches. There's huge events that focus on this industry-wide, especially in the Nordics, which we participate in. And along with that, the mentorship program kind of came into life as well.
Right. But that's actually how we met. You did a keynote at the Almedalsveckan, where all the politicians go during the summer to the island on which I live. And I think that we're going to meet again this summer.
Yes.
So how do you get into this network? You have to be a person of color, you're saying.
That's right. Yeah. So the actual network is separatistic. So it's for people of color to just have that safe space for us to not just vent, but also connect and support each other. I mean, unfortunately, people still experience a lot of terrible things at work, not just discrimination, harassment or things like that. So that's one aspect of it. But also to kind of, raise and give that encouragement and actually highlight each other and the amazing work that we do. Even, the industry media tends to focus on white men, especially if they're entrepreneurs. But you don't see women or women of color, get the same recognition. So that's a huge part of why we exist as well. But then we saw early on, there's so many people that they want to get involved. They're very supportive and they're like, how can I help? What can I do? And we also got the request from, members of our community, like, could you create a mentorship program? But we were hesitant at first because there are plenty of mentorships out there, but we just didn't, what's the true purpose of why we're doing it? We didn't want to become this, here's just another mentorship program kind of thing. So we kind of sat down, myself and my co-founder Roshi, and, we really looked at, we had like a bit of a workshop and went, so how come we're successful? Because we've both worked in the industry for, over a decade. We're some of the most senior women of color in the industry. How come? It's not just a fluke. We didn't just accidentally happen to get this far. And we started pinpointing it down and realized, it was very much thanks to the people we knew. We had specific key moments in our careers where a person that has or had power, more importantly, a white man who had power, not just opened the door, but literally, dragged us in. That was a really key factor, because it's not just about encouragement. It's about promotions. It's about, who gets the opportunity to do this project or do this role and actually prove themselves. Who gets the coaching?
A gateway, in other words.
Sorry?
A gateway.
Exactly. Yeah. And we realized, we both had that, even though we worked extremely hard. That was something different that we had that many people lack. So once we realized that, we were like, okay, let's create a mentorship program where we handpick people in power, so C-suite level, extremely senior people that want to do this. They also need to be on board. They need to understand the level of inequality that we have in the world. So let's handpick some great people that we know in our own networks and match them with young professionals of color that are just at the, that beginning part of their career, which is, it can really make or break someone's career choices or their life if they don't get that break quite early on. We match them for a mentorship for 1 year. And the sole purpose is very much to, the coaching aspect, but more importantly, the network. We ask the mentor to share and broaden their mentees' network, not to give them a job. That's not the purpose, but that coaching that, I know this person, or come with me to this event or this dinner, can change everything. So that was our, pilot version of it. We started off with 44 mentor pairs, and it was really, really successful. We saw, even before the first year had ended, over 60% had already gotten their first job thanks to their mentor. And, everyone was super excited. Yeah. So it went really fast. We didn't know what to expect. And we were very much hoping that it would also have a ripple effect, because we know when people are passionate about something, right? They meet a person, or they get really interested in something, and they talk about it a lot behind closed doors. So we also had, our Trojan horse was that if we get these really powerful, C-suite people to talk about their mentees and about this problem that we have in the boardrooms, in those, VIP meetings or dinners that they're at, people will get FOMO. They will be like, okay, so you're doing what, and you're so, maybe I should too. So that's our, the big Trojan horse of this whole setup, is that we want to accelerate the change. We don't want to be standing forever at Almedalen and talking about why this needs to be done. We want to make things happen.
Ironically enough, I'm thinking, you don't want your network to exist. Like, there shouldn't be a need of it.
Yes, that's our vision. That's our vision from day one, is that our purpose, our vision is not having to exist. That's when we've succeeded. We just want to do our jobs. I just want to work at an agency and do my thing.
Just be very good at it.
Yeah, so that's the whole purpose of why we exist.
But you doubled up, more than doubled up in terms of mentors. How did you reach them in the beginning? How did they get on board?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to lie, it wasn't that hard, because between myself and Roshi, we worked a really long time. These are some of our old colleagues and clients and CEOs. So it wasn't hard. Everyone's on board. They were super happy and, honored to do it. And what happened quite quickly, when we got a lot of media attention and PR, we had people, contact us wanting to be part of it. which is amazing, to see that, okay, something's happening. And then we also have, as part of the scheme, is that each mentor, we want them to recommend at least 2 other people for the following year. But we're very strict in the sense that it needs to be people that truly understand what this is about. So it's not just to we don't want anyone to join and it being performative, because this is people that we're dealing with, and especially these young professionals. They're very vulnerable where they are in their lives and in their career. And if you just have someone doing this for show, that can really hurt them, not just career-wise, mentally. It can really hurt them, because many are really struggling. We just don't talk enough about the level of discrimination that people of color still face.
I'm thinking after a year, you probably build up quite a nice relationship in between the mentor and the
mentee. Yeah, most of them, continue on having a relationship. I know they're meeting up in various parts of the world. Some are hiring them now, going I really want this talent. And many of the mentors want to continue. So they want a new mentee for the next year and see this as a long-term commitment, which is absolutely amazing.
I'm thinking when we speak about DEI, when we talk about development, when we talk about how to improve communication, we talk about how it should be, right? But there's no sort of super clear action points. Obviously, we boil it down, then we start crystallizing things. Here, it's a very, I'm not saying simple, but it's a straight, clear thing that becomes, it comes served to them. They accept, because there is inner good in everyone. And with that, they're already contributing. So just the fact that you're sort of almost serving it on a plate makes it easy for people to accept, or actually more than accept, really be on board.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And that's exactly the feedback that we got is, sometimes you just need a plug and play solution. And like you said, it's not extremely complicated. We've also got the comments that, why didn't I think of that, from other industry players? And we're like, sometimes it is Occam's razor. The simplest solution is the correct one or the best one. But no, that's exactly it. And I think we also need to be aware of the fact that people in C-suite and in power, they don't have a lot of time. So that was a key part when we start shaping the program format, is how can we make it efficient? How can this have impact? And still work, and not make it a huge commitment that nobody can fulfill. Because for us, it's the impact, the aftermath. That's what truly matters.
And the sort of the spirit of hope, in the mentee, I've got someone.
Absolutely. And it's been beautiful to see, in the sense that with our community has grown because of the program, because we're also seeing, the mentees move on to becoming mentors themselves, because we have a partnership with Mentor Sverige as well, who have younger mentees. So they're around, high school, or 14, 15 years old. So we want them to, mentor someone younger and inspire them to maybe make this career move. Many don't want to do it because it's scary, or they know it's going to be hard. But we we want to do a ripple effect on both ends. Can we change things up here? Can we inspire and, pull in more talent? There's so many creative people in Sweden that just never thought that maybe they could do copywriting, or they could work in fashion. So that's what we really want to do, is change and inspire.
So, all right, what's your role after the introduction has been done? So you match them, then you leave them, and all relationships become totally unique, or is there a structure or a program to it?
There is a structure, yes. So we have a kickoff, and we start off by kicking off. We have one session for the mentors and one for the mentees separately, so that we can go through the expectations, the format, and just, some learnings from the pilot. We got a lot of good feedback and input and what we can improve. So we brought that in for this kickoff that we had. And then we do... For this one, we do check-ins probably once a month. So we have our operations manager, Aisatu, who works full-time in all of us, and she very much checks in with them. And this year, we've also introduced more activities within the mentorship program. So we have a great partnership with IAB, Sweden, who have offered all of our mentees to do their courses completely free of charge. So there's an opportunity for them to upskill. The same with the Meta, who've also offered that. And then we've also done, this is a bit of a trial, but we had like meet and greets at different companies. So one agency, BBD Nordics, they just went to Meta last week. They've been to Sony Publishing, so that they kind of open up and that the mentor who works there, you know, shows them around, tells them about the different roles. So again, we get kind of closer to inspiring and having those informal meetings. And then we've had quite a lot of meetups, both for the mentors and mentees together. We have sessions or like round table format for the mentors. So we're trying to fill it up with things to happen, you know, more than just checking in with the mentor. Yeah, to actually inspire and like create a community within this mentorship program as well.
And see what the other ones are doing as well. I think there is so much more to sort of pick out from this. I'd love to have you back.
Sure.
I would just want to sort of, you know, are you sticking to Sweden and to the Nordics, or are you?
Yeah, we get that question a lot. We do have the ambition to grow within Europe, at least. I think what we're quite keen on doing is to just kind of package things and make sure that it's not just a pilot, to know that, okay, this is how we're going to do it. But we do have quite broad networks, especially in the Nordics, but also in the UK, because I used to live there, in France, in Holland. So we've had that request, and well, hopefully we're able to do that. But
within the same board.
What you're on.
Exactly. But I'm thinking the mentor and the mentee are in the same country. They should be able to meet up.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we still, for Sweden, we do, because we don't want to, sometimes it can get too, you know, big city focused. So we have mentees across the country. So some do get matched. They might live up in the north or in Malmö or somewhere else, and they have a mentor that's maybe in Stockholm, because that's where most of the companies are. But they really make an effort. And, you know, either we try to maybe pay for the mentee's trip, or the mentor will do that so that they can meet up in real life as well. But we don't want it to be too Stockholm or Gothenburg focused. We need it to be inclusive.
How do you feel now when going to bed after having sort of initiate this compared to before 2018?
It's really humbling, because I think one of the key things why this has worked so well is that me and Roshi we just take one step at a time. And obviously we have our vision of not having to exist, but we're fearless in a sense, that we'll take risks, we'll try things and just evaluate and see how it goes. But it's really heartwarming. And like, when sometimes people will come up to me on the street and be like, hey, like, I'm one of your mentees and thank you so much. Or I was at Soho House the other day and one of our amazing mentors was having lunch with their mentee. And I'm like, you see these amazing connections happen, and you just see, also for the mentors, you see things really change for them. You know, it's eye-opening for them to really start seeing things from a completely different perspective. So it's humbling, it's exciting, and it just gives me more energy to keep going.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Good job. Let's follow up once you've opened the 2023.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Looking forward to have you back, and looking forward to see you this summer.
Thanks so much.